Today's episode is brought to you by Fresh Earth Farms. We take the far out of farming. Fresh Earth Farms is an organic CSA located in the Afton, Minnesota area. With a focus on sustainable organic agriculture, Fresh Earth Farms has been providing delicious, environmentally friendly produce to the Twin Cities for over 20 years. Using the CSA model, customers receive a variety of produce each week during the summer for up to 19 weeks, with affordable pickup and delivery options available. Fletcher's Farms offers a variety of extra services: herb share, flower share, and winter share, working with local partners to provide sustainable eggs, coffee, and even mushrooms. With drop sites in Shoreview, Stillwater, Eagan, St. Paul, and more, farm fresh food has never been so close to your kitchen. If you or someone you know is interested in sustainably grown organic produce, go to www.freshearthfarms.com and use code MisMatched, all caps, to receive $25 off your next veggie share order. Are you enjoying the MisMatched.Socks podcast? Consider supporting us. Our Patreon programs include a variety of unique mismatched content, from our family bundle, which includes access to exclusive content, merchandise options, and fan meetups, to our advanced family bundle, where on top of prior rewards, once a month I will cook you dinner and we can watch a movie. Don't like the subscription style format? Give us a one-time donation using the Buy Me a Coffee service. Want to get something more than just a smile out of your money? Consider our merchandise store. We work with a variety of local creatives to design and produce unique merchandise, from classic items such as t-shirts and clothing, to more unique items like shower curtains, doormats, and even cutting boards. You can redesign your entire kitchen, bedroom, or bathroom with our products. Don't see what you like? Contact us at Mismatched for custom orders. We can put whatever you want on whatever you want. Our system is designed to be quick, easy, and efficient for you to develop your own merchandise line in seconds. Consider supporting Mismatched by clicking the link in the description below. Now, on to the episode.
Yeah, so I had worked with a band that doesn't really exist anymore called Only Humans last February. I posted a bunch of videos. Like I was just doing one video a day where I'd come up with a new guitar riff or a piano riff, or like I got an accordion and I just
Nice.
would post like random like Blink-182 accordion covers just like randomly.
Yeah.
Um, and the Nothing But Nice guys, or nothing, not Nothing But Nice, but
Yeah.
the No Humans or Only Humans band said we need a bass player. So went, learned their songs, performed at Amsterdam, and then the band kind of disbanded right after that. But that kind of got me in the door. People saw me a little bit, and then um randomly Matt Reed of Portside Dive Instagram messaged me uh probably 3 months ago and was like, hey, Portside Dive is just me, a solo act. I can't perform by myself. Can you play bass? I was like, yes, I can, probably.
Yeah.
And so he gave me a set list of songs, and he's like, hey, do you know who Linus is? I was like, yes, Linus is super cool. Then he said, Lewis and Galen from Linus are going to be my guitarist and drummer for Portside Dive.
Okay.
And so that'll be sick. So I was like, all right, learn that stuff. Met them once before the show at a little rehearsal,
Yeah.
and we killed it. And then we played the show and killed it again. And I think we're gonna be pretty performing pretty close with Linus and
Okay.
Portside Ave in the near future. But yeah, pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, cool. I love those guys. Linus
Yeah,
is good.
they're super cool. Like just in general, just the one hangout we had, got a sense of who they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. Hopefully work with them one day if they respond. I've seen them like 4 times and we've talked so many times, but
Yeah,
just not on Instagram. Can't
I'm
do that one.
I'm sure you'll get one.
One of them.
Yeah,
One
one
of
of them
them.
will show up. Yeah, or you can do a full band episode. Just offer Ham's beer. They love
Okay.
Hams.
All right. I'll look into
Yeah,
that. Get a bunch of hams.
yeah.
I'll send my roommate. He can
Yeah,
buy it for me.
yeah,
That'll work.
exactly.
Cool. Yeah. So what is like? I guess like okay. So you pretty much I okay. Wait. You make music in your basement. Do you have a nice basement setup? Like what are you?
Hey, it's
How's it?
evolving
Okay.
constantly. All of the demos were done. I just use GarageBand. That's all I've ever used.
Oh, okay.
Um, And for the demos, I had, a couple crappy guitars, a really crappy bass guitar, and it's kind of a meme right now, but it's called the Scarlett. It's a Focusrite mixer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
all I
All
use because I was just
right.
too poor for anything
Okay.
else. Yeah, so that's what I've used to record everything. But um I've just over time learning the hard way, I've kind of gotten a little bit better setup, but um you'll notice my vocal production from the demos to Buried, my second album, are way better because I actually bought a better mic. One of my closets in my basement, I stapled like 50 foam blocks and I ran out of blocks, so then I just stapled sweatshirts to my
Yeah.
under just to fill out and kind of like acoustically treat the room. That's helped a little bit, but it's not a great setup. If you saw it, you'd be like, this is not a great setup, but
Okay.
it works.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it does not sound bad for what like you're working with, like at all. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's I do what I can with what I have.
Yes, I mean that's the same as
Yeah,
anything.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So like, do you like mix and master everything yourself?
Yeah, yeah, all everything that's out there right now. In the future, I already have plans on getting help with mixing and stuff, but uh, I'll record I'll record two guitar tracks, pan left and right, record like four vocal tracks, pick the best take,
Yeah.
center it, pick kind of the bad takes, and pan them left and right, and then I'll just pull up the EQ and just literally track by track mess with each knob until it sounds decent. I don't know what I'm
Okay.
doing,
Yeah. Okay.
but
That's a pretty cool way of doing it,
yeah,
though.
it's I do it all by sound, or in GarageBand at least, you have like the smart EQ where it's like bass, treble, mid, whatever. Or if you bring up the actual graphic EQ, you can mess with the hertz and like points on the hertz
Okay.
where you can like turn down the bass, turn up the higher frequencies. And
Yeah.
I will just randomly pick, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I just have my headphones on. I'm just like going to where it sounds a little decent,
Yeah.
and that's you'll hear all of my songs and each song has a different mix because I have no process. Each time I start a song, it's from scratch and I have no template.
Yeah, that does make sense because like
Yeah,
you're definitely your vocals like change.
yeah,
Like
for sure.
it's
Yeah, and even
yeah.
like halfway through the song you'll even hear like different, like where like I have a song Go Getter Go Getter on on Buried. I had recorded back in like March of this year.
Okay.
And then after I acoustically treated my basement and I was trying to get buried out by like December 13th, I re-recorded some of the vocals, but
Yeah.
with the new like setup, and I'm a lot better at mixing at that point. And so halfway through Go Getter, you'll hear different vocal takes. Like you can totally tell they're different, but it is whatever.
It works. That's pretty much like how I, start with everything too, is just clicking and like
Yeah,
messing around with it. I mean, yeah, yeah. Like, I guess like from like the perspective of just like a beat with a vocal track on top of it, that's pretty much what I've messed with for the most part as far as making music.
yeah,
Um, it's just yeah, it's the same thing where like you adjust your EQ and all that, pan your
yeah,
vocals and then there you go. Like
exactly. Yeah.
you don't need much. That's the
No, yeah,
biggest part.
that's the coolest part that I've learned is like, and I kind of did this as a challenge because I had a lot of people tell me that like GarageBand's terrible, you can't really do anything with it,
No.
so you need Logic, or you need someone else to do it for you, like mixing and mastering. Someone else needs to do it. I understand that my stuff's not great, like perfect at least,
Yeah.
but like I only make songs that I would want to listen to anyways. So if no one else likes it, I don't really care.
That's not a
Yeah.
bad way of thinking about it.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
could show it to 100 people, and if I still like it, then the 100
Yeah.
people I could care less about.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think like there's no need to like use any fancy software, especially when you're just like starting. I mean,
Yeah,
you might not be just starting, but again, like you don't really need all that anyway. You can
yeah,
get really good at GarageBand too.
yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah,
then like people can't even tell that it's just been done in
yeah.
GarageBand.
If you master s- GarageBand versus someone who's mediocre at Logic, the GarageBand guy is going to sound way better in the
Yes.
end.
Yeah, it's also like if you start with, I mean, from like a video editing side, you start with Movie Maker, you get good at that, and then Premiere Pro seems
Yeah.
easy. Like
Yeah,
you start
exactly.
with the easy one, and then once you learn that well, the other ones tend to have a similar format to them in the end anyway.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So like, do you have any? All right. Wait. Where were we? We were talking about like the line of stuff, and then we were talking about your basement. Okay. Yeah, so I guess like how far does your music experience go back? Because I know you started a little with piano.
Yeah, so I play solely by ear. I don't know how to read music, like sheet music.
Yeah.
So I went into piano lessons when I was like 8, and the teacher would have the sheet music in front of me, would play the track, and be like, okay, this is what it's gonna sound like, and I'd be able to like pick it out. And so I
Okay.
did that for a couple months where she thought I was like playing the piano like piece, but I could like pick it out based on what I heard. And so she put a new song down, didn't play it, and just put the sheet music in front of me, and I couldn't start. Like I didn't even know what the first note was. And so I kind of quit after that. And then um really between my dad bought me a guitar and he loved like um grunge and like um Velvet Revolver, Pearl Jam, Stone Temple Pilots, stuff like that. And he was just always playing music all the time. Between that and Guitar Hero 1. When Guitar Hero 1 came out, like that's what started my musical like
Okay.
journey. Like before that, I was listening to whatever my dad had on or whatever my mom had on. So it was like disco from my mom. Like my mom loved disco and freaking greatest hits or whatever that's what I call hits, like
Yeah.
30 or whatever the CD was, or grunge. And so Guitar Hero at least opened my eyes to everything between like the 60s and like newer age music. Because I think Guitar Hero 1 had friggin' Ozzy Osbourne, Avenged Sevenfold maybe had been on there, like a
Oh,
bunch of
nice.
just different genres that opened my eyes. And so after just playing Guitar Hero for a long time, I was like, why don't I just try to learn real guitar?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I
Yeah.
just started messing around for a while. But I've been playing guitar since I was probably, I don't know, 12, and I'm 29 now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's a long time then.
But I've been trying to write, I've always like written cool riffs here and there, but I've only been writing music since probably 2016.
Okay. Yeah, that's a really good skill to have with like just being able to hear it and then replay
Yeah,
it.
it's a blessing and a curse because like if anyone does put down sheet music or anything, I'm just like, I can't help you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't do it regardless.
Yeah. Good
But
point.
if that playing by ear kind of opens like your improvisation improv skills with like you kind of know what would sound best in certain places, or not best but really good, so you can kind of fake it in a lot of the time.
Okay.
Whereas if you read strictly sheet music and you're just very technical, it's great for like a studio musician, but sometimes you could lack a lot of like the heart or soul feel of playing.
Yeah. Yeah, and like studio musician, I guess, yeah, so that's like just where you're actually, yeah, okay. I never even thought of the term, but that it makes
Oh,
sense right
yeah,
away.
yeah,
Studio
yeah, yeah.
musician.
If you put down sheet music in front of someone and say play this part, that's great for recording that part. But if you want to like jam with that person, or if you're asking their opinion on something or whatever, if they're just super technical and they don't ever like play improv over things or anything like that, it's really hard to get that to open up. Whereas if you have someone that plays by ear, they they can one, they probably won't play it correctly. Like they'll find a new way to play the same thing that you're playing,
Okay.
because I'll do that a lot where I'll be showed like a guitar part, or I'll hear a guitar part and I'll redo it, but I might be, you know, on the opposite side of the neck. I might be playing three strings higher, but I'm recreating the same sound. And that actually opens up a lot more possibilities from the original artist, who's like, oh, if I can play it up here, then that opens up a lot more notes for me to explore with. So
Yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I guess like again, like, I mean, I played a lot of Guitar Hero
yeah,
back in the
yeah,
day as
yeah,
well, and
dude.
I just
Yeah.
never got into actually playing guitar. I do find it helps with like piano
It
even.
really does.
Yeah.
At least it gets you like thinking of the mechanical action of pressing a button, making a noise,
Yes.
and then, you know, and it is weird because a lot of like the piano chords are just like the 3 split or the 2 split,
Yeah.
and that's a majority of the Guitar Hero like chords.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
kind of does like transpose with each other, but
That probably works out better than like actually going from Guitar Hero to guitar.
yeah, it was extremely extremely difficult. But with being able to hear it and play it, it just kind of worked out. But I probably could have been a lot better if I just focused on piano.
Yeah.
Like I would have been way good at piano if I did that.
And I guess I just gotta keep going with it,
Yeah,
but I'll
yeah.
get there.
Literally just practice every single day for like 10 years.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. And just don't even think of like, oh, in 10 years I'll be better. Just think day to day, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. And then
Mhm.
also when you're trying to write music and you're not good enough to play the parts that you want to play, it forces you to get good pretty quickly. Like if you have a riff idea or a piano chord idea that runs through like if you set a BPM of 150 and you're like, I need to play this part this fast and record it, and I don't want to program it in, it forces you to play that part that fast,
Yes.
regardless.
I don't think I'll be doing much programming
Yeah,
at all. Like I have a guy, like my former roommate, who's pretty good at all that.
yeah.
So like, I mean, eventually he wants to learn drums, but for now he just programs
I
all his
program all of
drums.
my drums.
Yeah.
All of
Okay.
my drum sounds
I
are
was wondering who did those because
yeah,
they sound pretty good.
strictly GarageBand programmed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't even know how the programming works in GarageBand.
It depends. GarageBand, it has like auto smart drummers or whatever it's called, but it pretty much gives you like a huge list of drummers in certain genres. And then if you pick that, it'll just drop a drum track with like in one measure, it'll be this drum track. And then it gives you, I'm not going to say unlimited, but a ton of options for customizing that drum beat. And then if
Okay.
you can make it like loud and complex or loud and simple or soft and simple, but there's probably 1,000 combinations of what you want it to do. And then you can give it the flexibility of how much you want it to do fills or how complex you want the fills to be.
Okay.
And then so I'll program like a basic song with that, and then I'll go through and reprogram like manually the
Yeah.
like whatever I want it to be.
Okay.
So it's a lot of like it would be a lot easier to do it with a drummer because
Yeah.
it would cut down my time by like 100 hours per song. But programming the drums is all I know how to do. I don't know how to play drums, so yeah. Again, it comes back to I want it to sound this way, and so I'm forcing myself to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a like I don't know, it is impressive how much you've done like again just in your basement.
yeah, yeah.
Like I guess like I didn't think it would be that like simple of a system to be able to produce like what you already produce, which is
Yeah,
really
it's
cool.
that's yeah, going back just kind of being told I can't do it and
Yeah.
then being like, well, it's not perfect, but it sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just GarageBand and a couple crappy mics and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you're making it for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. If you want to make music, just make it never pander to what the audience wants. Just play whatever you like. And
Yes.
then sometimes an audience might form. Sometimes you won't get a single listener, but if you like your songs, that's all that matters.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know yeah, I know a couple of artists that kind of like physical artists that
Yeah.
just do art for themselves,
Yeah.
not for anybody else. But again, also like that can be a thing with music where too many people try to make something that sounds
Yeah. I mean,
appealing.
my favorite music just happens to be like early 2000s pop punk. Like Relient K, Blink 182,
Yeah.
Green Day, all that stuff. I love that genre of music, so naturally my stuff kind of sounds like that,
Yeah.
and that's what I want to listen to. So I just make all the songs that either I wish existed or I just happen to stumble upon, and that's why you'll find like uh in Buried, Break Up and Lover's Grave don't sound anything like any of the other songs. Like
Okay.
if you go back and listen, it's literally like organ. It's in 3/4 time. It's not in 4/4. Like it has weird elements that shouldn't work.
Yeah.
And it's just because I literally was like, let's make it work somehow. And arguably it does work. Arguably it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But I like the way it sounds, so that's all I really care about.
Yeah, that's the fun part with like a project. Like I guess even like an album like that is that like you can try different things in each song,
Exactly, yeah.
and that's a very interesting way.
Yeah, it doesn't have to, everything doesn't have to be a concept album. Like, there's this kind of like thought where each song has to be connected to the next, or the whole album has to tie together, or whatever. And initially, I liked the idea, but I'm not a great songwriter, so it was very hard for me to do that. And as soon as I made Breakup, where it sounded nothing like any other songs, I knew that it wasn't gonna tie together. So I just made whatever I wanted.
Yeah, it is like it is still like impressive that you threw together. What is it, 13 song, 12, 13
Yeah,
maybe?
both albums are 11 songs. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for my drop date too, I dropped the demos last year on the 13th of December of 2022. It's 11 songs. And so this one is 11 songs, and I dropped it on December 13th of 2023. And I'm
Okay.
just going to try to keep rolling out albums, 11 songs each, on December 20 or December 13th
Yeah.
of each year.
That's not a bad idea of how to do it either.
And it's all, there's nothing significant about that date. And I don't
Yeah.
like the number 13 like more than other numbers, but I
Yeah.
just happened to drop it on that the first time, so I'm just going to keep that theme rolling, I guess.
Yeah, I know if like I have a friend with kind of a rap career where he just like posts as many songs as possible to
Yeah.
see which one makes it, but you're kind of doing that just in the way of albums. It's different. It's different what
Yeah,
you're doing,
it
but
mine's kind of a mix of old school and new school. Like, there's a thought process of, it's called like waterfall release, where you drop one single and then like 5 weeks later you drop another single, but the it's kind of an EP where it has your original one and then your new one, and then you 5 weeks later you drop a new single and it's three songs, your new song and your two old ones. Then you just keep building until you have a full album.
okay.
I did that for the first four songs, and then I was like, screw it, just drop the whole album. I just honestly got tired. Like, I didn't
Yeah.
want to just keep doing it. Whereas like traditionally, at least back like early 2000s, pop punk was like drop two songs, whole album. Whereas now it's kind of push out as many singles as possible,
Yeah.
see which one hits the masses, and then you just kind of plan for it after that.
Yeah.
There's no real albums, which opens up flexibility for like, you don't, each single can be whatever like genre it needs to be. Whereas with albums, you kind of want to, there's a, the thought process I said earlier, where you kind of want a concept or like at least a genre
Yeah.
across an album. Whereas if you have 20 singles, you could just have 20 different sounding songs. So
Exactly.
that's super cool. But
Yeah, with an album you have like an obligation to make it all sound similar, like
exactly, yeah.
fit together more,
Exactly.
which is restricting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so how long did it take you to make that Buried album? I don't know if you went over that already, but
uh Not really. I had Breakup, Lonely, and Go Getter written and recorded roughly back in March of 23, March of this year. And I would slowly like build these songs. Usually when I start a song, I'll just like put a drum beat in, make a cool guitar riff or piano part, and then just expand on these songs. So really it took me March of 23 to like a week before I posted it to drop. Like, I was
okay.
I was like pushing to finish
Yeah.
so I could get that December 13th date that doesn't really matter at all, but
Yeah.
I just wanted to stick to that. So, and usually you have to post your music a month in advance. So I was trying to get all my music done by November 13th. So really from March to November is when I was working through everything.
Okay.
But I can make a whole song, the music of it, in like 2 hours. Like, I could pump that out. But writing lyrics is my biggest like weakness. It's so hard for me to write lyrics. Like, staying staying vague enough but still relatable is kind of my goal. Like, I don't want to be hyper specific and detailed just to like have my songs open for interpretation or usable. Um, but then making them ultra vague is terrible too. So
Yeah.
I try to sit somewhere between that.
I know you've got to. I don't know, because the genre that you're like in, we're gonna quote that
Yeah,
again because you make whatever you want, but
yeah,
the genre that you're kind of in, it's like it's all like very like nostalgic to most
yeah,
people, which
yeah.
makes it tough to like crack into.
Exactly. Yeah,
Like tough to try and like not replicate, but just kind of to be a part of.
yeah, to be a part of this old genre that came and went, but also try to be unique.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like my target audience is 30 to 50-year olds,
Yeah.
just because it's all those people that like went to Warped Tour and saw these
Yeah.
bands.
Yeah, all the people that liked that stuff and
Yeah,
still do like
so
it.
so my current like trying to hit with the current like 20-year-olds is a little different, but like I said, I'll make what I like, and then if people like it, they'll like it.
Yeah, that's what's tough for like every band is just like I don't know. Here's what I'm hoping on is that like because there's so much. It's the world's flooded with rap. I'm
Yeah.
getting sick of it. A lot of people are sick of it. I don't know. I'm sick of hearing 808s all the time.
Yeah.
But so I'm hoping that there's like this nice return of rock stars coming back in.
I think so. Like I went to When We Were Young fest this last year. Um and I don't it seemed like this whole new generation of younger kids are seeing like the music that I love, like the early 2000s. And I think they're having a big resurgence of just like big front men, like big sounding guitar, like actual instruments being played is like
Yes.
a super big thing that I hated seeing go away.
Yeah.
And so seeing actual like performing artists and stuff is really huge because it is so easy to just okay, I'm gonna go back. It's not easy, but it is different to have a laptop with preloaded beats or like that you made and just
Yeah.
like boom, whatever. And it'd be really cool to get actual bands, actual musicians back out. Which I mean, there always has been and is, but it seems like lately it's been a lot of just computerized stuff.
Yeah. Even just in the mainstream world,
Yeah, for sure.
which is a tragedy. I'm
Yeah.
not crying. My eyes are just.
Yeah, the mainstream is
Yeah.
fallen. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. Yeah, I'm really hoping that I can get to see that come. I mean, I never got to see it really, be there and then go
Yeah.
away, but I get to see it come back
Yeah,
hopefully
for sure.
and be a
Yeah.
part of it
Yeah,
doing this.
exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, definitely like there's something completely different again about just seeing somebody actually up there and like seeing a whole here's the thing is like one guy or or girl or they them whatever these
Yeah,
days
whatever.
whatever you want up there like just kind of a vocalist basically going over a beat.
Yeah,
There's a difference between that and then just like the dynamic of a full band and also just the
exactly.
years of experience. It
Exactly. Yeah.
feels bigger.
It feels way bigger. And if you have like some of like the best performances can spawn out of like a bass player missing a note
Yeah.
or some sort of like moment in the performers like where something goes wrong and they fix it mid set or they change something that they've never changed before. Just all of the working dynamics that increases like the room for error kind of gives like a super special anything can happen feeling to a show. Whereas if everything's kind of like laid out there pre-programmed, boom, you hit it, you sing your parts, and then it's over, or you rap, it's over.
Yes, there's
Yeah,
a lot more like creativity rather than like just logistics happening.
exactly.
Yes,
Yeah.
which is amazing to
Yeah.
see.
Super cool. Yeah.
Very cool. Um, yeah, because I was thinking about what is it, music, all that. Yeah,
Yeah.
music. Yeah, that's what we do here on the
Yeah.
podcast, talk about music. Um, yeah, because it's what is it? I don't know. Yeah, I'm hoping that I can see that come back more and just be a part of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
sorry.
think it's you'll definitely have some room. I think it's coming back big.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I said, I'm seeing the starts of it. Hopefully it doesn't just fade out or like fad out where it's just like a fad for a second and disappears.
exactly. Now here's the two things. I finally figured it out.
Okay.
So one, everybody like there's so many people on TikTok buying a guitar or whatever and then
Yeah.
putting it on there, which one, like, good for you, you get to learn an instrument. I mean, two, learn bass.
For sure.
Three,
Yeah.
people need bassists,
Yep.
please, for the love of God.
For sure. Learn bass.
I know there's been like I have 4 or 5 people, like different like bands or artists that want a bassist, and I have
Yeah.
not found one.
I do fill in basses for shows sometimes.
Hey, there you go. I finally found one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's so many people out there. Like instruments have become a lot more accessible.
Yeah.
It's like it's just cheaper and it's easier to start getting into it and easier to learn because you don't have
For
to pay somebody
sure.
to teach
Yeah.
you. So that's one aspect of it. But again, like, see, you can also have that getting flooded or turning into like a fad, like you
Yes.
said. And then the other aspect of it is like with like these small indie bands. I haven't seen this in Minnesota yet. We've been great about having good promotions,
Yeah.
but so many of them just have shitty promotions where they're
For
standing
sure.
in front of the camera like, we're a
Yeah.
small band. Just you could change that with a couple buttons.
Please listen.
No, I'm gonna listen because I like it, not because
Exactly.
you asked
Yeah.
me to.
100%.
So there is a fear of almost like shooting, like the industry shooting itself in the foot with it a little bit.
Yeah. Well,
But
and oversaturation in general is with the access to social media, with the ease of spot like I go through TuneCore to submit all my music to every platform.
okay,
And I, with a click of a button can submit myself to 150 different platforms. I'm one of about a billion artists that do it every day. So
yeah,
it's like if your goal is to be big and unique, then your marketing on social media needs to be big and unique. You
yes,
can't just go out there and be like, please listen to my band because I'm the same as 50 bands in this city.
yes,
Like, you have to do something different. And it is terrible to see my Instagram feed just blown up with bands that are just like, coming soon,
yeah,
you know, local band, whatever, and just please listen to my stuff. I've seen that a
yeah.
billion times.
Luckily, I haven't seen that very much in Minnesota. I haven't seen it at all in Minnesota. I've
Yeah.
seen so many good promos.
Yeah.
Like I guess Pull String is a great
Pull string's
example.
super, super
I
good.
love their promos too.
Um, back to Linus.
Yeah,
They have super good promotion. Yeah, yeah. The Minneapolis Twin Cities scene is super cool.
yeah, it's a lot. I think it's one of the I don't know. For like Minnesota's always like we like to float under the radar,
Yeah,
but like
yeah,
we're
yeah,
we're very creative
for
here.
sure. Yeah, and I
Like
feel like it's there's just so much energy and like even like I can't think of the band's name, but I mean, there's like 100 of them here, but just super young kids that are just putting everything out there.
yeah,
They take whatever they get and make with what they can. Kind of like the theme of this freaking podcast.
yeah,
Like you
yeah,
do with whatever you can, and you just get out there and put your face out there, and no matter what, people are doing a ton of backyard shows,
yeah.
city street shows over the summer. I don't know what that was called, but I want to definitely go to that next year. It was just like a block in Minneapolis or St. Paul, and they just had
Okay.
people playing on porches. Like
Oh,
they'll
really?
set up any shows that they can just because they love music,
Yeah, I
and
think
so
I
it's
I think I
super
heard about
super
that.
exciting.
Yeah, yeah, I think I heard about that. There's also like Grand Old Days
Yeah,
around
yeah,
here and all that. But yeah, it is really you're right about that. Everybody's doing it because they love the music and they
yeah,
love music in general and they don't want to see like this scene die out at
yeah.
all.
There's not like a ton of like clout chasing or trying to get huge on social media and stuff. It's just going out and playing music they want to play just because they love music,
Yeah.
which is super, super cool.
Yeah, or even making money. Like
Yeah,
that's another
yeah.
thing. Nobody's
No,
really here for that.
nobody wants to like. Yeah, as soon as your goal in music is to make money, that's when it's all over. Like
Yeah.
that's the wrong mentality from day one. Like, well, one because the music industry is like the NBA, where if you're good at basketball or the NFL, if you're good at football in high school, you're probably mediocre in college if you
Yeah.
even make it to college. And then to get to the NFL is like the 1% of the 1% of the 1%. Music industry, if you're if you're good in your niche area, in your genre, you know, if you know, you could just be another band that just
Yeah.
exists And if you get to the upper echelon of like these big regional shows or whatever, that's still nothing compared to the top 1% of the industry. So,
Yeah.
and if your goal is just to get big and to get tons of money, you're already failed.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen that way
Yeah,
at
yeah. You
all.
have to love the music and you have to love the music that you make. And if it's good and people love it and flock to it, then that's naturally going to happen. But if you're trying to force music to get big because you want money, it shouldn't exist in the first place.
Well, it's also like that's the mentality that's gonna get you like taken advantage of as an
Oh,
artist
for
as
sure.
well.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where like somebody's gonna come in and be like, "I'll promise you everything you want,"
Yeah, yeah.
and
Just like some marketing like agent that comes in. It's like,
yeah,
sign this. Don't read it, but sign it. I promise it'll get you big.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. I almost have this podcast thing is like it almost has the same like mentality as like going into music and all that, where I don't make money. Like
Yeah.
I just do it because I like doing it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I like advertising. I like creating content and stuff, and I like taking pictures and all
For
that.
sure.
I
Yeah.
like merchandise. All the stuff Dunwoody got me
Yeah. Yeah.
into.
Yeah. Dunwoody.
Yeah, Dunwoody. That was yeah. Did you see that they posted me? Like they
Yeah.
reposted. Yeah,
Super cool. Yeah.
that was so funny.
Yeah. That's super funny.
Yeah, I woke up, checked my phone, and I was like, "Oh, holy shit, that's cool." They reposted
Yeah. They're like, we have no content. Let's figure this out.
it. Well, it starts with like it. The first part of it is like it yells, "Who the fuck is Eric?" So I'm
Yeah.
surprised they put that
I
up
know.
there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I think it's, um, back when I was there, they just gotten like this new marketing person and she was really good. So,
yeah, is
I
it the
mean,
camera lady?
yeah.
Yeah, I love her
So
too.
if she was in charge of it, I could see that happening. She was
Yeah,
kind of like really cool.
yeah,
Because I was part of the survey civil engineering program, and she was able to even like post cool clips of that. And it's like the least romanticized, the like if you were to see people when you see people on the side of the road with those tripods, that's what surveying is.
yeah,
It's like to make that look kind of appealing is hard work.
yeah. It's difficult, but yeah. So did you like? Do you work in that now?
Yeah, this company, E.G. Root and Sons, I just work with out of a private family firm out in Lino Lakes. And yeah, I was um 5 months before I graduated, they came to Dunwoody, had this like job search thing, and before my current boss got back to his office, I had emailed him. I was like, I am looking for a job,
Yeah,
and so started an internship there, and I've been there since.
yeah. Like, do you like doing that with
It's
it?
I have the best job in the world for sure. Yeah,
Okay,
it's I'm kind of nerdy too, and I really like I do a lot of 3D design stuff.
cool.
Um for So land surveys, I'll kind of do the brief run through of what land surveying is and all that stuff. But you need a land survey if you're going to build a house. You need to know where the property lines are. You need to know where water is going to flow. So
Okay,
my job is kind of put down the lot lines on paper and get the house in a location that's, you know, that abides by the setback laws and easement laws and all that stuff, and so that water doesn't go into it.
yeah,
And so a lot of that, through that, you can kind of design 3D surfaces to make sure water doesn't go into the house because that's a bad thing.
yes.
So I do a lot of that stuff, but
Okay.
it's very fun though.
Y-
And so, it is still a job, but I still have a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, yeah. That seems like I don't know. That seems like an interesting one. So is that something where like currently you guys have the tripods and the lasers. Like
Yeah.
that's your workflow for like getting the like I guess like the property
The
line like
actual,
just
yeah, yeah. So
measurements.
the workflow to get to where I'm designing is I sometimes these Minneapolis areas, some guy in the 1800s went out and literally measured it with like chains
Yeah.
and put measurements on paper, like 60 feet this way, 180 feet this way.
Yeah.
I, in 2023, take that map and I compute points and I give GPS locations on those points that were computed back in the 1800s to my field guys. The field guys go out there and it lands nuts on perfect or it's 10 feet off. But
Okay.
their job is to find all of those lot corners that are marked by iron pipes in the ground, and then shoot those GPS points and bring them back to me in the office. Then from there, I have a 3D model, and it's all elevation tied. So if they shoot the monuments around the lot corners, and then they shoot like topography shots like every 25 feet to give me just like a grid of the ground, what it looks like, then
Okay.
I know here it's 900 feet, here it's 898 feet, and then I can tell where the water's going to go. And then
Yeah.
that's how I get all that stuff.
Okay, that's really cool. Yeah,
Surveying podcast brought to you by
yeah.
Dinnersworth.
Well, that's the joy of this is like after the music stuff, I just talk about whatever the hell I'm
Yeah.
interested in that the person does.
Yeah, that's super sick. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, so like you're mostly on like the design side of it. You're not on the field anymore.
Yeah, not anymore. I started a little bit here and there because, during an internship, you kind of see where you're going to land. But like once or twice a year, I'll get out in the field for like a week and just help out. Like last year, we were doing like a car lot for some where they sell cars. I can't even freaking remember the name, but like a dealership.
Yeah, there you
So
go.
we're there at a dealership midwinter, and there's like 8 foot tall ice piles onto like curb lines, and we needed to collect shots of the curbs. And so I was out there for like 7 hours, just like digging parts in this 8 foot pile of snow and ice so that they can shoot the curb. And
Yeah.
so that's what my field work is just digging for like 8 hours at a time. So I don't do any of the technical stuff in the field, but then once I get in the office, I can do anything.
Yeah. Yeah, so like do you think I guess I don't know much about LiDAR, but do you think LiDAR is going to come into your world
I
more?
use lidar daily.
Yeah.
Minnesota's super cool because they post the DNR posts um like all their plane collected lidar data.
Mm,
And so if we haven't been out to a site before, so we have no elevation data, and it's like a 40-acre farm field,
mm,
I can just go to the DNR site and pull that lidar data and just give it to my guys and say it's going to kind of look like this, because
okay.
lidar can't give like a perfect picture. Sometimes it's a foot off accuracy, or sometimes it's like less than an inch off. Sometimes it's really good. But if there's like grass cover or if it's snowy out or something, it's not going to get good data. So LiDAR is very important, but it has its uses and it has its pros and cons. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, they sell drones now, like just the quadcopter drones, where it has a LiDAR sensor on the bottom. It probably costs like $100,000, but
Yeah.
you can just take a portable LiDAR unit and just fly it over your site and collect pretty good ground data
Yeah.
instead of having a guy go out there and walk to each shot.
Yeah.
You could just fly over a drone and get all the same data. So
It's really useful.
yeah,
Yeah, but at least for like water flow and all that, you need to be pretty specific. Like
very specific.
yeah,
Yeah.
very. Okay. Yeah. And then like when you get into your world of like 3D modeling, what are you guys like using?
Well, so we use Autodesk is like the main program, but they have a program within Autodesk that's called Civil 3D. And I like for my stuff, a lot of my modeling that I do is like for earthwork calculations. So we'll go to a site that has a house on it, we'll shoot everything. They want to put a new house on it. So we know kind of what the elevation is and what it's going to be. So I have to build a 3D surface of what it's going to be and underlay it over the existing,
Okay.
and then calculate the difference of dirt moving that happens between those two um, existing and proposed services. So that's a lot of what I do is just to get rough calculations of earth of dirt moving. Um, but you can also like um, it's kind of a combo with lidar photogrammetry where you take like 500 shots, like pictures, and then you can make a 3D surface out of it.
Yeah.
With dirt piles or like timber piles or whatever, you can fly over 1 week, take 500 pictures, and then the next week they've moved dirt out of that pile, shoot 500 more pictures at the same spot, make two 3D surfaces, and then compare how much they used. So that's kind of a simple, not simple on our end, but a simple way to see how much inventory is lost or gained from like a dirt moving company.
Okay.
So there's applications.
Yeah, yeah, that's It's interesting how something that sounds so boring can be so
Yeah, there's
complex.
so much to it. Yeah, and there's so many, different areas. We also have like they're called total stations, the robots that we use to take points.
Yeah,
We just got one that has laser scanning on it, so it can take a million shots of and build a 3D model within itself of a building, side of a building,
that's cool.
and then I can just import that into mine, and then I know exactly where the wall is, signs are. Like it takes pictures too, so I can see a parking stripe like 100 feet away, and it has a bunch of actual laser shots on it that I can get the elevation on.
That's really useful.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm just thinking about applications for my life. I
yeah.
don't know what I'd use something like that
You could
for.
set it up in this room,
Yeah.
have it shoot the room, and you'd have a 3D model, and then you could just 3D print it maybe.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking with 3D, like with 3D printing, and then yeah, using that, something like that, or even even creating something like that with a Raspberry
Yeah,
Pi,
yeah,
and then taking my model, like making it so I can just it'll quickly scan the model, shoot it into the
exactly. Yeah,
printer, boom.
yeah, because you could set up a scanner and just scan this can and just like 3D. You can 3D model anything
Yes.
with those scanners. So
Yeah, that's what I'm
yeah,
working on. I'm learning some 3D modeling stuff. Just because me and my brother were working on a VR chess game.
that that would be super cool.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's being built in voxels.
Oh
So
yeah,
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 I'm learning how
super
to
cool.
do voxel
Yeah,
stuff.
that's like you said earlier. Like once you learn one, you get a feel of a lot of different other ones.
Yeah.
So learning voxels would be super cool, super applicable.
Yeah, and I got to mess with a lot of the deeper 3D modeling stuff at Dunwoody,
Yeah.
but it's nice to step back to just clicking
Yeah,
one little pixel at a
for
time.
sure. Yeah.
Kind of like to build things.
Yeah. There's a kind of a side tangent, but there's another program called Landform, or it might be Landform. I can't remember the name of it. I use it at Dunwoody through Autodesk, but they just have all that lidar data, and they have it um accessible at one like spot, so I could like go in and see Dunwoody. See, I could go to Minneapolis, fly over it, and see Dunwoody, like the building and the parking lot. And then you can actually put in like scripts so where you can walk around. And so you could make a
Yeah.
video game of any location on the planet.
Oh,
That's one of my ideas that I mean, I'll never do it, but
that's
it's
so
kind of a cool
cool.
idea.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you could make have all the data from the planet and then just have a randomly generated map happen with whatever type of game you want.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so you could do like Battle Royale series and you could have it in freaking Southern Arizona, and then the next time you spawn in, it just picks another like square mile or square 5 mile radius anywhere on the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really cool idea.
Take it.
Yeah, yeah, somebody can take that
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Go right ahead. Yeah, that's all interesting. So, yeah, because so what this means is that so your job's doing that side, and then the music is your hobbies outside, or do you
Yeah, yeah.
doing other
I
things?
do my music on, my free time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm either playing Xbox or writing songs.
Okay.
And lately it's just been songwriting.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just working on stuff for next December.
Yeah, and I've got a lot of like little side projects that I'm working on too. Um, but yeah, so between writing songs and my secret band, not to be released yet, halfway down, it's coming soon.
Nice.
Um, between writing songs and practicing with them once or twice a week, and trying to write songs through Dinnerworth, and then I've got a couple other people that I write songs with too. That's unreleased stuff, but might come out someday.
Yeah.
Uh, I do a lot of songwriting.
Yeah, so it's mostly
It's all my
focused on
free time, yeah,
music.
but it's all hobby based right now.
Yeah.
But it's all music.
Yeah. But again, I guess if you sub in at a show or something, you end up getting partially paid for that if it's a paid show.
Yeah, which like I'm just so grateful to be like part of the scene anyways,
Yeah.
that if I'm not if I'm not paid, but I'm still gonna just freaking jam out on stage, I don't really care. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, you do get paid.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, one day I'm hoping to play the keys up there,
That would be sick,
even
yeah.
if I don't make much money,
Yeah.
just a bar show or something.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
just sub in or something.
Yeah. Whatever people need. Um, yeah, so I'd like to talk about what people do besides music, but
Yeah.
your life isn't really music as much, and your life is like you got mostly the job, then you got music, but then what do you play on your Xbox? What are you doing?
Right now, very funny. I was talking about LiDAR and stuff. Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Oh, nice.
Dude, so they have all that data in there, and any airstrip that's been registered pops up. So I live in Ham Lake, and there's like some guy's backyard really close to my house is
Yeah.
like a registered land strip. And so I just took off from in like an F-22 fighter and like flew over my house. Like, and they have all the data in the game, like
Yeah.
around the world too. So I can fly over Dunwoody, anything in like a really lifelike looking rendering of the world. So I just do that. Ark Survival Evolved
Oh,
is a
yes.
really cool game that I started playing like 6 years ago. I love all the Rockstar games, so sometimes I'll hop on GTA 5, sometimes Red Redemption 2. Um, I really like first person shooters too. Halo's probably my biggest one for the story, but the Battlefield series are for sure my favorite like gunplay first person shooters.
Yeah.
I love the Battlefield series. The last four games have been terrible, but I still love them anyways. I'm
Yeah.
just a diehard fan, I guess, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, with Halo and all that, you seem a little stuck in like that the genre that your music came out in.
Yeah, the early 2000s. Yeah,
It's not a
that's
bad
funny.
thing.
Yeah, and then it's funny because I graduated high school in 2012, and so when I was listening to that stuff, I was already way like behind.
Yeah.
Like all of my friends were listening to like A Day to Remember, like in
Yeah.
that like 2010 pop punk, and I was like, whoa, this first Blink album's cool, and it's like 94 is when it came out. So I've always kind of been like a little behind on that, but
Yeah,
yeah.
it's all right.
And I still do play like the Halo 1 campaign. The
Oh,
Halo
yeah.
1 campaign is probably like the best campaign for a first person shooter ever.
Yeah,
In my
they are so
opinion, at
good.
least. Yeah.
They are
So
so good, all the Halo
I'll
games.
still go back and play through just the campaign by myself.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like I don't like how they did the Halo like remastered or whatever. I don't know, whatever the
Yeah.
big game that has all of them in it.
The
That
Master Chief Collection, yeah.
yeah, that barely
Halo
runs.
Reach through 4. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially when it first came out, it was so glitchy. And online, getting online porty, like I think they now have two where you can play on PC like through Steam. So you're trying to play through Steam and just like there's so many connectability issues and stuff, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a bit of a downfall, but
for
you know,
sure. Yeah. And
luck.
I didn't love Halo 5. I didn't love Halo Infinite. I didn't love Halo 4, but I still love Halo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 I think that's true for a lot of
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
They just like the original still.
Exactly,
Like
yeah.
everything else just hasn't been the same.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. And then yeah, the flight simulator stuff. Let me know if you find anything cool because me and my friend, we fly sometimes.
Yeah.
So,
Um
yeah.
they have a Pelican from Halo
Oh,
is one of the flying like crafts that you can use.
yeah.
And it's super buggy, but it's super fun because it's just a Halo thing.
Yeah.
Uh but yeah, it's a pretty cool game.
Yeah, I don't because I've played it a little bit and I've also been in a plane a decent bit.
Oh,
So
do you
like,
actually fly planes?
well, my friend does. You kind of saw the pictures, I
Yeah.
think.
I didn't
Yeah.
know if that was like a bit or if that was real.
No, that was real.
Yeah, he
Like,
legit flies planes.
yeah, we just went to
That's
like
insane.
it was some random Tuesday. I called him just wondering if he wanted to like DoorDash with me and hang out. Like, just I'll make some money and we'll just kick it in the
Yeah.
car or whatever. And he was like, "You want to fly instead?" So we went and flew that time, and
You're
that was
just
pretty good.
dropping DoorDash bags like 400 feet above people's
I
houses.
wish we could, but
Yeah,
no, I can't. That's illegal. You can't
yeah,
drop anything out of them.
makes
But
sense.
yeah, it's pretty cool just being able to like just have a friend that can do that.
That's the craziest thing I've heard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. He started in high school, so we've been flying since like high school and all that.
yeah, yeah, dude. Like, uh, how young can you be and get a pilot's license?
I think you can even just start it all at like 14. Like you can start before you can
Dude,
drive or flying a
that is
plane.
super sketchy. Can you? Yeah, I wonder how many like single propeller prop plane crashes have been reported, like, with TikTok, like, as their last video. Like, "Whoa, sick. Oh, no." Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
for
texting and flying is probably a little worse than texting and driving.
it's not at all, dude. The plane's like he sometimes uses it, but you can just put into autopilot. So
Oh, dude, yeah.
sometimes we're just like playing Clash Royale or
I do
something
that
in the
too.
sky.
Yeah. And there's no traffic.
No, yeah.
Yeah, so
Like you just listen in case like somebody gives you a warning that they're coming towards you, but
that's insane.
yeah, or like you just check your instruments. Most of it's just chilling up there.
Dang.
I know.
I need to rethink my travel. Maybe I need to buy a plane.
Yeah, dude, it's again, that's expensive. But here's the thing is once you're a pilot and once you have the plane, I mean, I guess you're paying for gas and all that, but
Yeah.
from there, like when you're a pilot, you get so much free shit. Like
Dang.
when you land in an airport, mostly like small airports and stuff, you get a free rental car for a couple hours or
Oh, wow.
whatever. You get like often I've gotten free food like burgers and fries and shit.
Wow.
Or like you get free snacks, like
At
you
the
get so much
airport?
free stuff. Yeah.
How? That's
You,
crazy.
well, because here's the thing is like you're used to an airport as in like this
Yeah,
big shopping mall pretty much.
exactly, yeah.
When you're going as a pilot, you land in like this smaller area which just like it's just one person inside and they're like, fuck it, take everything you want. Like
Yeah.
anything that you want, take it,
Yeah.
have a good time, grab free water, drink,
That is
whatever.
crazy.
I know it's once you have it, you get a lot of free things, but you're still paying like tons for the gas and to keep it somewhere.
And so, like, is there a lot of like continuing education for flying, or do you have to like uphold a certain amount of hours per year or something? Or I don't know if you know
Uh,
any of that stuff, but
I know
it
it's
seems
just
like there'd be a lot of like time that you'd have to invest per year to keep your pilot's license or something like that.
I don't know about that, but I do know that like as far as like getting it and all that, there's a whole bunch of hours just to
Yeah,
start, like
for
day
sure.
hours, night hours, different like procedures you got to learn and all
Oh,
that
yeah.
and do in front of like the first major thing before like you get your basic license is you got to do like a solo flight
Okay.
without your instructor. And that's
That's terrifying.
yes. But then once you do that a couple times, like, or you do that once, then you start getting into more of it. And then my friend, he's got to have like 400, maybe like even more hours by now, but he's now getting into pretty soon he can start flying people for money.
Oh,
So people can start paying him a couple bucks or whatever they want,
dang. Yeah.
and then even just in his small little plane. And then from there, you get pretty much like class upgrades. So you can fly bigger jets and different types of engines and all
Ah,
that. So it's just pretty much more and more hours and more practice in different types of planes.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, be honest. First time you flew with your friend, how scared were you?
It was very
Yeah, yeah.
scary.
I wouldn't trust any of my friends to fly ever, even if they were a pilot. I'd be
Yeah.
like, no way, dude.
Yeah, I don't know why I trusted him, but I did.
That's crazy.
And then, well, the biggest thing with it is like the safest, I guess maybe not the safe, well, like, maybe it's the safest. The most comfortable time to fly is winter because all the air is just nice one
Oh,
temperature. In the
yeah.
summer, there's peaks everywhere. Like a little pond will cause a super big updraft, and then your tiny little
Weird.
plane goes over that, and it's
Yeah,
like
just gets rocked by it.
so. Like summertime is terrifying.
I've never thought of that. And well, on the flip side, like when you're landing in the wintertime, like whenever I'm in it, even like the big planes, like whatever, taking off from Minneapolis, my first thought when we're taking off is we're gonna slide off because of the ice, even though there is no ice. Like I logically, I know it makes sense, but
Yeah.
like emotionally, I'm like, we're gonna die every time. And then on our way down, I'm like, we're gonna land right on ice. We're just gonna slide off and explode. So like, is it sketchier in a small plane to like take off and land when you know that it's winter or?
No, because I guess like I've never even like seen ice
Yeah,
on the thing, so I don't know how they clear all that off and
yeah,
keep it away,
that's
but
crazy.
it's not there, so that's nice.
Yeah.
The only the scarier part is just in small planes, sometimes you land and then you go like,
Oh my
"Whoa."
gosh, I can't even look at you make the wish.
I know, dude,
That's
it's
so
scary.
sketchy. I felt that like I think last year I flew to Texas or Arizona, Texas or Arizona. I go back and forth a lot between those. And in one of the big planes, we like bumped, went off the ground,
Yeah.
freaking tilted, and then corrected back. I was like, "We are dead. We are dead. We're not surviving this."
I know, dude. I don't know why. Like me and my friend will land. We'll have a horrible landing, and I'll just be like, "Well, fuck, dude." Like
Dude, yeah.
you're pretty much ready for it at all
Well,
times.
and the good and terrifying part about flying is you're going so fast at all times. If you're off the ground, you have to be going really fast.
Yeah,
So if you crash at that rate, you're gonna die 99% of the time.
yeah,
And so you kind of like once you're in the air, there's like a trigger of in your brain. Sometimes you're just like in dread the whole time, but sometimes you're like, oh, like whatever happens happens.
yeah.
But most like I'm super anxious person anyway, so I'm just like that trigger it like gets close and I'm just like the whole time being like I am going to die.
Well, that's luckily his job is to stay calm even if things are going
Yeah,
horrible.
he knows he's going down. He's like, yep, just
Yeah.
doing the whatever, and then yeah.
And I guess like whenever I'm in that plane or like just before the landing or like it doesn't feel good, but you just
Yeah,
gotta think to yourself like, well, this might be it. So,
yeah,
glad I lived a
exactly.
good life and
Yeah,
but then you land and you're like, fine. Like
yeah,
I just say that to myself just so at least I had that thought before the end just
yeah,
in case. But
exactly. Yeah,
and I'm
yeah,
not very worried about it most of the
yeah, yeah.
time.
Yeah, but those split seconds are terrifying. We're
Yeah,
just like, I'm
definitely.
dead.
Definitely. Some of the landings or some of the moments where it's like a big bunch of turbulence and we're
Oh
in
my
this tiny
gosh.
plane
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you're
yeah.
like, how are we even up here? It's
Yeah.
like that can be a bit much, but it's fun. Like there is also like when you're up there and like your cell service sometimes works, sometimes doesn't.
Yeah.
Like it's just up to the towers that are on the ground, which is
Yeah.
interesting.
Very interesting, yeah.
So like when you're up there, like nobody can really like contact you. Like you're just chilling, which is
Yeah.
it's really peaceful to
That's
just kind of
awesome.
like watch the sun and watch like the earth below
Especially
you.
like on a winter day, I can imagine it's super, super nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's peaceful. It's like it's a different feeling, especially when
Yeah.
it's just you and like your friend.
Well, yeah, that's that's the other thing. If like your friends flying, besides the fact that I wouldn't ever trust my friends to fly, it would just be just a chill. Just like
Yeah.
you're just hanging out in
Yeah.
the air.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And you
Before
have no distract you have like no cell service, so you're literally just
yeah.
chilling.
Yeah, nobody's like texting. It's so peaceful.
Yeah.
Like nobody can reach you. You have no worries at all.
That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's nice because that could be your last feeling, is having
Yeah.
no worries at
Yeah.
all.
That's even better.
I don't know if that's better, but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it is a little spooky.
Yeah. Yeah, no, flying's crazy. Like the worst one I ever had. I don't know what airport it was, but I landed and it was super cloud cover and foggy down, like on ground level. So
Yeah.
I didn't see the runway until we hit it.
Yeah.
Like I was literally looking out the window looking for the runway or looking for the city, and I thought we were like above the city
Uh,
still. Like where you like break through the clouds and you can
yeah.
see the city. That just never came. And I was like, oh, so we're probably like 5,000 feet still up. And we're just like boom, rock the ground. And
Yes.
the thought of being up in the air and then hitting the ground
Yeah.
is the scariest transition ever.
Yeah. See, here's the thing is they actually train, and my friends like done this in front of me. They train with glasses on that cover
Oh
everything
my
except their
gosh.
like so they
Yeah.
can fly with only their equipment in front of
Okay.
them.
That's good to know.
Yes, so that's why he was even
Aviation
able to land.
podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll get him on here one day for that.
Yeah.
That's why, like, he was even able to land on your flight is just because,
That's
like,
super comforting
yeah,
actually.
they do
Because
it purely by instruments
in my head I'm
sometimes.
like, that was just sheer luck that we just landed.
No, he
Yeah.
was probably watching a number as it slowly got lower,
Yeah, just
and he was
altitude
like,
and
"Alright,
yeah, yeah.
a little less on the throttle, whatever he had to
Yeah.
do."
That makes a lot of sense.
I don't really know how to fly a plane, but I feel like I can now pull it off just from being up there enough. Although, I don't know.
Yeah.
Every guy says that in general, but I think
100%.
I could actually do it, and
Yeah.
that's the difference.
Yeah, after playing Flight Simulator for like 3 days, I think I could fly.
Yeah, that counts.
It is crazy though, if you set for like simulation mode or whatever the highest like realism mode is, like you have to actually be in first person and flip all the levers and stuff to get the plane going.
Yeah,
So I'm sure after a long time you could probably get comfortable in one craft, like to fly, based
yeah,
on like a simulator.
yeah, exactly. I think, yeah, that's not a bad way to do it even,
Yeah.
which is interesting. It's interesting that that's, like, a thing that people can do now is start learning in the
It's so well, I
simulator.
mean it's with everything like um guitar, there's Rocksmith. I never played it, but I guess I played it like one time, and it's literally like Guitar Hero, but it's your guitar. Like you
Yeah.
plug in your actual guitar to the Xbox or PC, and
Yeah.
then you can just play songs like on
Yeah.
a real guitar. Like you can just with just gaming technology and in general. And there's freaking cooking simulators where you can just like VR is like
Yeah, you're
I
right.
love VR a lot.
Yeah.
I've played it like one time and I'm super addicted to it already. But
Cool.
if you there's one game where you like just literally make a dish, like you can just make food. So, with VR technology like on the rise, I'm sure you can just buy any simulator, like farming simulator. I think
Yeah.
you get the basics of everything down kind of with all these little simulators. So
Yeah. I think they're all like I think VR and just kind of the future of all that is gonna be really useful for learning and
for
teaching
sure,
people
yeah,
and just at home learning.
yeah. At home's like it's it's so easy. I think it was like the Meta 2 that I was on, and if you have internet connection, you can just do anything.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you can just yeah.
Yeah.
If it's there out there, you can do it from your living room. It's
Exactly.
so cool.
Well, eventually you can play chess as well.
Yeah, voxel chess.
Yeah. See that
Mismatched chess.
yeah. See, there's more to it, but I'm not gonna expose
Yeah,
that.
don't
Yeah,
expose it.
don't
Yeah.
worry. There's some things that make it more than just voxel chess. That'll be really cool.
Yeah. That would be so it's VR, is it first person?
Yeah.
That
No,
I
no.
can picture now.
You can see where
You can do
things
a lot of cool things with that.
we'll
Yeah.
see where it goes. But
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of model building for that is what takes the longest,
Yeah.
especially with voxels. A lot quicker.
Yeah, literally just piece by piece.
Every single one. But it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The VR world's cool. See, my brother, he does 360 photography for different companies.
Oh dang.
Or like he's the guy that they call if they want a 360 video of their place.
Okay.
So, um, because of that, he has a lot of experience in VR, so he's able to help push this out more once we get it all done.
That's a good idea.
But yeah, he started that all himself. Again, like I think I gone over this before on the podcast, but my dad owns a farm that he started. My mom owns a hypnotism business that she started.
That's interesting.
And then my brother owns the photography business that he started, and now I own whatever the hell this is that I started.
Media empire. It will come
Yeah,
into.
I think it's kind of a platform because the podcast is one side. It's podcast, photography, and merchandise, and that's
Weird Family Business Podcast.
yeah, exactly. I know I should get all four of them or all three of them on here
That would be a
sometime.
super cool podcast of just like randomly going through like different aspects of each hypnotism. You said
Yeah, that's my mom's.
that's insane. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
helps people like stop smoking or like lose weight
That's a
or
podcast by itself.
yeah,
It's just like the business side of hypnotism
yes.
is something I've never even thought of.
Yeah, I can do that. I mean, yeah, one day I'll get my mom on the
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah,
That would be
that's
cool.
super cool.
But yeah, it's funny because so when I go to house shows, I have my business cards and I'm trying to get those out to people.
Yeah, for sure.
And I also bring my mom and dad's now. And I realized at the last show, if I try to directly get somebody to take my mom's or to like take my dad's, that doesn't really work.
Yeah,
But if I can get them to take my business card, I can
yeah.
convince them to take all three.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe like just have like a really thin pack that they can't really tell us all the business
yeah.
cards. Just like here's my business card, and they would get four of them like in one.
Well, what happens is I'm talking to them about my business. I'm like, is this something you're interested in? They're like, sure. And then I hand them a business card. I'm like, what about stop smoking? And then
Yeah,
I pull out the other one, and then you like fresh produce
and
too.
you're
Pull
like
out the other
this
one.
guy's a bunch of businesses.
Dude, yeah, people, because sometimes, a lot of the time they're drunk or they're off something too.
Yeah.
So they're like, you have three fucking
Like,
business
whoa,
cards.
yeah. Have you ever thought about being hypnotized by a cucumber and
Yeah.
being interviewed? They're like, yes.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, a whole bunch of business owners over here, and
that's
none of us
awesome.
really make a lot of money, but
All you've tried. That's
yeah.
important.
Well, like my mom and dad had enough to get me and my brother through college and eventually retire, so
Yeah,
that worked.
that's awesome.
That
That's
works.
super cool.
Small businesses, everybody. You might not make a lot, but
Very, very, very important. Support local businesses.
yeah. Well, it's also like it's nice. I get to work for myself, but that also means like when do I stop working?
Yeah, well, and the bigger question, when you start working,
Yeah.
like
Yes.
even like I wasn't working for myself, but during like the height of COVID, I was able to bring my computer home and do all my stuff at home.
Yeah.
And it takes a certain person to be able to work at home and like do your own thing on your own time schedule. I'm
Definitely.
not that person.
Yeah.
Like 6 months in, it was really whenever we were allowed to go back to the office, I was like, please let me go back to the office because I cannot do this efficiently. Like
Yeah.
it's just so easy when you have you're at home and you have a certain amount of work that you want to get done. If you're not like in work mode at work, you can get it done within 12 hours spaced out between all the events that you want to do throughout the day. Like, oh, I got to go grocery shopping. I got to do this.
Yes.
Maybe I'll do some here, some there. And then it just turns into you don't do any of it in between. And then you're making up time at like 8 p.m. to get it in. Like,
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah. I find like I wake up, I shower, I have breakfast, and I get straight to it, like
Smart.
right after. Sometimes I go and grab a coffee. It's
Yeah,
good to just get out and then
for
come
sure.
back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's also good that my work office area is not my room.
Yeah,
That's a
directly
big one,
connected. Yeah.
which is useful. But I think like again, like you can end up with kind of all these different things throughout the day.
Yeah.
Like today, I had to pick up this cool thing.
We're going to give a shout out.
Yeah,
That's super cool.
I don't really know his name, but it's the guy. You go to Homie Mexican Restaurant, HOMI. He'll
That's where
be
you
there.
got that?
Yeah, the guy. He's only around.
Does he do it out of the restaurant or he's always at the restaurant?
He's only in Minnesota for another month. He just travels, dude, and
Oh,
does it. Like that's so cool.
that is crazy. I'm gonna have to get one.
Yeah, he barely like speaks English too, so it
That's even
was.
cooler.
I know it was kind of just some guy I met working on it, and then
Yeah.
we talked about how to get me one and all that. So yeah, that was
Um,
that was about $90, but
that's super sick.
yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
Where was I going? Yeah, I had to get that today. I had to
Oh
stop
yeah,
at the bank,
yeah.
like all those things. Then I had to work on some other stuff before this interview.
Yeah.
So it is kind of like your whole day is just kind of it's so flexible that it's hard like if you're not
Yeah,
able to keep yourself focused
exactly.
and
Yeah.
like know your next task. Like I have tons of mini notebooks that
I
are
was
now
just gonna
full.
ask, like, do you have like a system in place for or is it kind
Yeah.
of like a loose, I've got three things I want to get done, maybe I'll do them, or do you have like a really descriptive task list?
Yeah, so how it works is like I'm pretty I don't know if I am ADHD, but I'm pretty ADHD in
I
general.
yeah.
So I just like I've always tried to organize through different notebooks and it just hasn't like worked to try and organize.
Yeah.
So pretty much I just keep this like I bought a ton of these small little white ones and then I just always have that like on me with a pen and then
That's
like
super cool.
write down all my ideas and then just kind of check them off as I go. Sometimes I write out my tasks for the day, but it's also like a lot of the times you don't get all those tasks done.
Yeah.
So I like to write out the week. It's kind of like every day I fluctuate how I organize the day.
Flexible per day,
But
but have like an overall weekly thing.
well, the thing is more like you might rewrite it the next day, like what you're gonna do,
Oh,
but then you just look back at the prior day too and realize, oh, I didn't get that done. I should do that today now or tomorrow. Or
that's smart.
I did finally set up a calendar and all that. That's a little more helpful for planning for the future.
I
But
should start doing that.
yeah, just carry the notebook because everything ends up in there. Like
Yeah.
everything, like every thought you have too that you want to write down.
That's I use my phone so much for like my well, like I said earlier, I'm really bad at writing lyrics, so when I get a good like one liner,
Yeah.
I'll instantly pull up like voice memos and like record like
Mhm.
the melody or lyric into that, or I'll go to notes and just start a new tab. But having an actual physical notebook for actual daily tasks would be super helpful for me because I am
Yeah.
just scatterbrained most of the
Yeah.
time. Like I can
Same.
focus on one thing and one thing only,
Yep.
and like if it takes longer than it needs to, then everything else is gone. Like it just disappears in my head.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the notebook is a huge game changer. It really helped me just kind of it's not organized at all. Like it's chaotic, but it's chaotic organization.
Yeah, that's how I live my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least like it helps you remember everything too. And the act of actually writing it is
Oh,
another
college.
stimuli in
Yeah, exactly.
for your body.
Super smart.
Same with like the phone and all that. Things can just end up flooded
Yeah,
and then you can't find what you needed.
exactly. Yeah.
And you can always rip off a piece of paper, tack it to a board. I'm telling you, get a notebook or get a bunch of them.
Notebook podcast.
Yeah, yeah. I got a couple podcasts to make
Yeah.
after this.
Yeah.
I know eventually I want to make some sort of update video. We'll see when I do that.
That'd be cool.
Maybe end of January here. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess do we want to wrap it up here?
Yeah, sure.
These are questions I never use, but
Use all of them and I'll rapid fire it.
all right.
Try to answer them as simply as I can.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
No, that's I'm Dinnerworth. Blake Dinnerworth's my name. Dinnerworth's my little artist name. It's just my last name that one of my lifelong friends like making fun of me was like Dinnersworth instead of Dinnerworth, and that's what stuck. So
Yeah.
and it's I've never like even when I look for like website names, Dinnersworth has never been used. So it's
Yeah.
a really smart idea on that end. But yeah, Dinnersworth, that's me.
Yeah, that's a good way because then you just have your domain and all
Yeah,
that.
domain's already done. Didn't
Yeah.
have to pay for it or anything. So
Perfect. Yeah, that's question 2. What inspired the band name? Tell me more about how you guys met.
I met myself on the day I was born. I've been good friends with him. Actually, not really. Sometimes I hate that guy.
Any significant challenges you faced along the way?
Not really. I mean, everyone like the scope of what a challenge is. Like some people have really crazy challenges. Some people, like the some person's hardest thing could be nothing to another person.
Yeah.
So like gauging like the level of what a challenge is kind of whatever. But I had brain surgery back in 2017.
Whoa, okay.
That's a little challenge. And then just really it's work life, hobby life balance is probably the hardest thing. Setting deadlines and sticking to them. Like I said with Buried, like trying to get everything in before November 13th. I was still writing music on the 13th.
Yeah.
But nothing
Yeah.
major.
Yeah, all right. That's a good answer to that. Yeah, it's not a good one. I gotta get rid of that question. That's not a good one either.
I'll answer your worst questions.
God, all these are like not because it's like, is there a moment you realize this dream could be a reality?
Oh, still going through the dreaming part.
Yeah.
Reality, because I don't really care if anyone really listens. Like I'm gonna push it out. But if I'll still probably be my biggest fan, and so making it is just getting it to Spotify. Like if I can get it to a spot where I can listen to it easily,
Yeah.
then I made it. So I made it a while ago.
Good point. You got it to a point where you can add it to all your playlists with like
Yeah.
Blink 182 already. And like
Yeah.
you can add it to your playlist.
Exactly. I can just add it to my pre-existing old person playlist.
That's fun because you
And
can send that to somebody and just sneak a couple of yours in
yeah,
there.
like my favorite songs ever, and it's just like one Blink song and all of my songs.
Yeah. I don't know what your intro song is gonna be, but tell me more about your intro song.
Intro song to this episode?
Yeah, we can probably pick that now if you want.
Oh
Live.
yeah. Oh dang, is it one of my songs?
Yeah, well, yes.
Okay. I'm picking this song from a random artist. That's a cool question. So, in a lot of my songs, I have a lot of weird dynamics, song swells and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
the first song on the Buried record is like really fast and heavy, and it's got like ba 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 like really like catchy
Okay.
things. So that might be a cool one. But I've also got songs with like really chill vibes. So
See, also like, I don't know if you watched the episode of like Baron from Nice and Blue. Did you like see the intro to that I did, or
I
do
don't
you?
think so.
Okay, yeah. But or like, do you watch the Nothing But Nice One and All
Yeah,
intro? Yeah. So that intro is just them
yeah.
like, performing. But the Baron one, I got a little creative with that. So I'd probably end up making an intro for this too.
Gotcha.
So that's why the one with the ceiling fan was not a bad idea for me to
Yeah,
like
no,
create
yeah.
an intro to.
Super
So
cool.
we'll see. That one's lonely. Right. And then I got a part written down too, because that's a good one.
Yeah, Apart was the biggest one. On the demos, there's one called Broken Record. It's the last song. That one has really like an actual intro to the song that like
Yeah.
slowly builds, and then it's really big thing. So
Okay.
there's some options, but
Yeah, I'll look into some of them and then just pick one and then I'll let you know to send it my
cool.
way.
Yeah,
However, I guess yeah, how'd you find your inspiration for the title, specifically Bury Me?
yeah. So, and I knew this question was going to come up. So, when I start a project like in particular, I mean like songs, like each song is a new project. Um, I start the drum beat and I just write a riff over it, and then I
Yeah.
instantly save it as the name of a song. And then I write a song around whatever I saved it as. I saved a song called Buried, like 6 months ago, and I couldn't finish it, and I wanted it to be like the main part, like the main album, like topper, like
Yeah.
Buried. But I love the idea so much, but I just couldn't finish the song. So on my next album, I'm probably gonna have a song called Buried.
Yeah.
And yeah, but really it just came from me randomly in a second thought. This song's called Buried, like, and it was just a guitar track and a drum track. That's where the inspiration came from.
Nice. Okay. So what about tell me more about the picture of you in Fruit Loops?
Yeah.
Yeah, how'd you do that?
So I used to work at Zero Res, actually, the carpet cleaning company. And I worked with a guy who really good with photography. He owns a studio in St. Paul. Um, and I had with the waterfall drop idea where you drop a single until you build an album. Each song will have its own cover art. So I
Yeah.
had ideas and concepts for each song. And then I was gonna have like the buried whatever. Originally, I was gonna be buried with, and the picture exists out there. We have that picture of me buried with instruments, my piano, my amp, my guitar. Like I'm buried
Uh,
in instruments initially,
yeah.
and then I had a box of Captain Crunch in my car, and I was like, let's just try something crazy. And so, um, I just randomly chose to go. Like we shot all the cool concept pictures, and then I decided last second to just go with cereal randomly, just because there was no
Yeah.
real. It was just there, and it was kind of fun. And I like being random, I guess. And so I just threw the whole thing out and just did cereal. And so when you look at the four singles, it's just I or him wrote, or him and I wrote with Sharpie like the name of the song, and it's just covered in cereal. And so those are the canvas arts for the four singles. And then he had like this this box with one end out of it, so I just stuck my head in the box and we just filled the box with cereal until it was over my face. And
Yes.
then that's where Buried came from.
That's what I was trying to figure out is how you actually
How I
like
actually did
yeah,
it?
how
Yeah.
you
It's
actually
a
took
box literally completely filled with Captain Crunch. My ears were filled with Captain Crunch. I
that.
mean, I had Captain Crunch everywhere. And then I think my TikTok, like, because you can do like GIFs as your artist, like your profile picture.
Oh.
And I took a video, or he took a video of him dropping cereal on my face, and I catch a cup of it in my mouth. And so I'm literally buried in cereal. There's no effects or anything. It's just a light and a box of cereal on my face.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's cool. I think that's a much better promotion than what you had
Yeah,
prior
I mean
to.
that's a lot. That speaks towards my personality, if at all, a lot more than like instruments.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm kind of just goofy and random. So it's
Yeah.
cereal.
There you
And
go.
they're all like sad songs. Like that's the other swing is like I'm very bad at writing happy songs, and so my songs are like lonely, apart, breakup,
Yes.
kill me is one of my
Yeah.
songs. You just literally kill me, and it's me and cereal. So
Yeah, that's perfect.
yeah,
I think it's good like contrast.
exactly. Yeah.
All right. You got any favorite venues you performed at?
I performed at two so far. And the Amsterdam was super cool, and then the Eagles was, I mean, really really cool. Both have totally different dynamics because the Amsterdam is like a big stage, like away from the people, kind of.
Yeah.
Whereas the Eagles, I was like, I gave someone knuckles like during the show, like while I was
Yeah.
playing bass. So like
No,
you're
that's cool.
surrounded by people. So I mean, out of the two venues, Eagles.
Yeah. I've heard Amsterdam's good because you can pay the guy to record everything for you if you
That's
want.
super cool. I didn't know that.
Which is something like I eventually want to do, like even with like Como Backdoor or somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like I have another place, an open lot that I don't know how I'll get
Yeah.
access to it, but maybe is just like a place like that where like every performance like can be recorded and paid for
That'd be
and like
very cool.
but not just because the Amsterdam just does audio. I would also do all the video and like
Have
have a
like,
webcam and all that.
yeah. That'd be very cool.
So like you get a full production at just this little bar basically or
Yeah.
something.
I mean, a lot of people would probably pay. A lot of people would probably pay for that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's even like just ends up being like the bands might not get paid, but we'll take it all and like we'll take all the money for our production of it and then send it to all the
Yeah.
bands. We'll do all the editing.
That'd be
We'll
super
see.
cool.
Money is figure out later.
Yeah.
The dream right
Yeah. The
now.
dream, the artist dream is the most important part. Money can happen if it happens. Probably won't.
Yeah.
But if it happens, it happens.
Don't plan on it,
Yeah.
but it might come your way.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. What artists do you guys listen to?
Us guys, me by myself. My favorite artist right now is a guy named Jeff Rosenstock. He's probably like the best songwriter that I've heard. He had a band before called Bomb in the Music Industry, and he used to perform in Minneapolis. He's just very good songwriter. Other than that, like my favorite like legacy band is Blink 182. Super big fan of them. And then best lyricist of all time in my opinion, is a guy named Max Bemis from Say Anything. Again, early 2000s
Yeah.
bands, but oh my goodness, yeah. Well, not Jeff Rosenstock. Jeff Rosenstock's very current, but Max Bemis and Say Anything and Blink are both very good.
Yeah.
My favorites. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
mean, I
think
listen to everything, but those, if
yeah.
I had to choose, like the only bands to listen to for the rest of my life, it's gonna be those three.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like all of those are like it's all like your genre, it's very like it might not be alive as much anymore, but it's very critical to like just how music developed in
Yes.
this world. It's
Exactly. Yeah.
very important for
Yeah.
how things have played out even today.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you relax at the end of your day? Mm.
Play guitar and record music. No. You know, really though, like it is a weird thing where recording music and trying to get like a deadline is stressful, but playing guitar and just like messing around is a huge stress reliever. So it is a hobby that can lend itself to both being very frustrating, very impossible to deal with, and also being like the thing that gets you through the next day. So, really, making music is the hardest thing and the easiest thing, stress reliever wise.
But yeah, I think it's almost like it's the reason it's relaxing is because it distracts you from
Yeah,
the other stuff going on. Even if you're
exactly.
not relaxed, like even if you're frustrated with what you're doing, it's not thinking about everything
Yeah,
else.
exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Cool. Anything else you want to tell me about?
Not really.
All right, good.
Yeah. I guess keep your eyes peeled for halfway down. It's coming. January 15th.
Yeah, that was actually the next question. Got any promotions that you'd like to promote?
Yeah, just Dinnerworth, of course. Um, I know Portside Dive is working with Linus on releasing stuff pretty soon. Um, my secret band that's getting out there exclusively right here, halfway down, that's coming pretty fast and pretty hard. So that's the first project that I've ever been in an actual studio and like recorded.
Oh,
So yeah, all the Dinner's Worth stuff, I like to keep it pretty indie and DIY, but with this band, we're going to the studio, we're getting it mixed and mastered, and we're doing it that way. So
yeah, that's
yeah,
cool.
it'll be cool.
Cool.
That's about it. And this podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good promotion right there.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, it was good having you on today. That was
Yeah,
good.
pretty sick being here.
Yeah.
Super cool.
I know. You've been one of my, I don't know how you found me, but you've been one of the biggest fans so far. So
Yeah, I don't know how I found you either. You just popped up, I guess, and I was like, oh, this is pretty sick. And then
good.
started listening, and
Good. Good. I think I didn't realize at the time, but how critical pull string was to getting me started.
Yeah, dude,
Just
yeah.
because I think when they followed me and I had the episode of them, that's when so many people were like, "Oh shit, pull strings on there."
Yeah, this is a legit freaking podcast.
Yeah. For a while, it was zero content at all.
Yeah, I think that's what it takes too. Like, if you get one just like lucky break, not like lucky break got me in the freaking whatever, but that gets eyes on you, and then
Yeah.
naturally more people start watching. So
Well, somebody's got to believe in you to start.
yeah,
Somebody's got to be
exactly.
the first one to get kind of, I mean, granted, they got kind of the shitty editing and the shitty production and all that,
Yeah,
but
but you'll have like episode 2 with them. That's gonna be
yes.
like, this is what it was before. This is
Yeah.
how far I've come.
Yeah, they plan to see me in a year as well.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I'm
exactly.
excited for all that.
Yeah, but no, yeah, I think, and I love like DIY projects anyways, and so and up and comers and stuff. So I usually love to support just anyone grinding and just trying to get out there. It's so easy to show love for someone, like just to give them a like and throw a comment. That's the easiest thing in the world.
Exactly.
So,
it's not that hard. And
so
it's
why
not weird.
wouldn't you? And it's a local freaking mini. Like,
Yeah.
it's a Twin Cities scene personality coming up. Like, why wouldn't you freaking support it? So
Yeah. I think that's probably a good closing statement. Is just support all these up and coming projects. Like,
yeah, exactly.
there's
Support
so many of them.
local people. Like,
Yes.
support all these local startups. You can't get it anywhere without support. So if, make dreams come true. Support local people.
Exactly. Well, that's kind of what I do here. Is just the merchandise is all free to get involved in. The photography is all free for me to do it. You pay me for editing.
Yeah.
And then like the podcast is free. Like it's 3 opportunities to support people that have no money to put in at the start.
That's super awesome.
That's what matters.
That's what matters.
Not to plug myself at the end, but either way, yeah, it was good having you on, and
super cool.
I don't really have an intro anymore. I kind of just say peace. And
peace out.
That's about it. Cool. Hello, everybody. Thank you for listening to this episode of the MisMatched.Socks podcast. This is a moment for me to shout out our Patreon supporters, Nathan Bailey. Also consider checking out our merchandise store or donating at Buy Me a Coffee. We also provide photography services. Yeah, there's a whole lot we do here, and anything else you need, if you need a guy, I probably know a guy. So, thank you everybody who listens all the way till the end. The word of the day: magnificent. Peace.